Hello, Westside Church. We are continuing through the miracles of Jesus, and today we're going to look at a miracle that's found in both the book of Matthew and the book of Mark, and it's the feeding of the 4,000. We're reading from Matthew chapter 15, starting at verse 32. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion for these people. They've already been with me for 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way." His disciples answered, "Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked. "7," they replied, "and a few small fish." He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, and they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. There's a number of things that we can learn from this story. A couple of them really catch my eye today. First is this: Jesus doesn't wait for the crowd to complain or grumble or even ask for food. He anticipates, he sees and knows what their needs are going to be. And then he very quickly moves into action to meet those needs and invites the disciples into that process. It's interesting to me also that when we read about the life of Jesus, he didn't heal every sick and hurting person. He didn't feed every hungry person he encountered. We don't see the disciples feeding every hungry crowd that they encountered. Jesus modeled for us a healthy rhythm and healthy priorities in life. He had this balance with he and the Father that allowed him to minister and operate in the miraculous in amazing ways. Remember the story of a woman who comes and anoints Jesus' feet with some priceless perfume, and the disciples complained, saying the perfume could be sold and the money given to the poor. And Jesus says some really interesting words. In Matthew 26:11, just later in the Matthew's gospel, he says, "The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me." There was something to rhythm and priority when it came to miracles and when it came to ministry that I think we can learn from. Here's the reality. Our world is filled with overwhelming need. There's more need around us than any one of us can meet. And yet God has positioned us to be able to minister to and meet needs of people around us. I think there's a few things we can pull out of this story, 3 things actually that show up that can help us minister and see God move in miraculous ways, in ways that for us are spirit-led, they're healthy, and they're fruitful. First thing is this: it's important for us to focus on being with God before we focus on doing with God. By the way, if you find yourself focused a lot on doing for God, catch that. And bring yourself back to that place. Remind yourself that there's something to being with God so that you can then do with God through his strength. Second is anticipating, and that's what we see Jesus do. We anticipate the needs, we ask God to do miraculous things, and then we trust him to do it. Being careful to not try and force and manufacture things on our own. He is the power behind the miracles that we see Jesus performing, and in our own lives, we want to see him move miraculously, and we need to trust him to do it. Third, quickly, is when we are unsure, it's important to ask for wisdom. Our compassion can oftentimes gravitate towards focusing on the symptoms and miss the root issue at hand that oftentimes God is more focused on and wants to meet. Bottom line is God will give us wisdom when we ask, when we seek him. He'll help us know how to partner with him as he does miraculous things in and through us in our world. And I hope that's encouraging to you today. Well, that's today's miracle. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow as we dive into another one of the miracles of Jesus. God bless you and have a great day.